Welcome, 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 KAFFETASTIC Quilt Along fans. I'm Nancy Jewell, and I'm here today to introduce you to our KAFFETASTIC Quilt Along for the summer of 2019. I know you've been waiting for so long to get started, and we're excited to get you started. Today is the day where week one, it will be introduced to you as part of making your Rainbow Star quilt in either the bold colorway or the sunset colorway. Whichever colorway you chose, suffice it to say that Kafe and Liza have put this together to help teach you about harmonizing colors and to help teach you how to step outside of your color comfort zone and put together things that you might not ever have thought to put together before. So strap on your seatbelt, let's get started. I want to encourage you to read through your instructions before you do anything. You may have gotten from your retailer a kit that had all of the fabrics in it for the complete quilt. They're all quarter-yard cuts pretty much. So before you start hacking into your fabric, just know every piece of fabric in that quarter-yard is used throughout the next 6 weeks. So I want to encourage you to read your instructions. And to be mindful when you're cutting into your fabric that what you're cutting into is going to be used over again. So just to give you an idea what you're going to do today for week one is this is what you're going to do. So this is the bold colorway. It's in chunks. That's the way it's supposed to be. Don't get ahead of yourself and try to sew these chunks together because we're doing it in chunks for a reason. And as we go through the next 6 weeks, you'll understand why in chunks. And again, this is the sunset colorway in chunks. This is what you'll be making. So beautiful, isn't it? Don't you love this Aboriginal dot in the denim? This is new. You're the first to have it and the first to play with it. How exciting is that? So this is what you're aspiring to this week. Also, just as a little aside, perhaps you, when you picked up your kit from your retailer, you might have gotten a couple goodies. Because Kafe and Liza wanted to make certain you really felt special because you're part of the Quilt Along. So you might have gotten this exclusive quilt label. This is designed by Kafe. You should have one, unless you've bought more than one kit. But this quilt label is designed by Kafe. It says Kafe Quilt Along 2019. It's for the back of your quilt because you are going to finish it, right? Right. No UFOs in this group. I'm sure of that. And you also might have gotten this really fun bag designed by Kafe. This is a reusable shopping bag. And I think every time you go to your local quilt shop, you need to bring this with you so you can fill it up with more Kafe fabric or whatever it is you might need for the project at hand. Anyway, so let's get started. I'm going to introduce you to Sharon Thornton, our inspiration manager here at Free Spirit. Sharon has the lucky job of playing with all of our beautiful fabrics, creating beautiful quilts to inspire you and get you quilting and sewing. So without further ado, let's get started with week one and make our blocks.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Sharon. I'd like to share the KAFFETASTIC Quilt Along with you. We are going to be working on the bold colorway in the Quilt Along with Kafe. This one was made and designed by Liza Lucy. And the sunset colorway, which was made and designed by Kafe. I'm going to show you some tools that we'd like to work with today. The first is the Kafe Collective Threads from Aurifil. These are a 50 weight thread. I'll show you the beautiful color palette inside. All of these colors are curated by Kafe and his team, and they match beautifully back to all of his fabrics, not just the ones we're working on today, but any project that you might be doing with Kafe Collective, any of the fabrics that they've designed, which are also beautiful in so many different colors, as are these threads. Today, the yellow is missing because it's on the Bernina, the 570 Quilters Edition, and this is what we're using to sew with today. This thread, so you can see it, and the machine. Today we'll be using this cutting mat. It's the DIY style cutting mat. Wonderful cutting mat. It's magnetic. I'll show you how these magnets work when we get to the cutting portion. And we are using an Oliso iron, and I'll show you that as well as we move forward. So I'd like to get started by showing we're going to be working on the Bernina machine, using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and it's a 1/4 inch seam allowance throughout the whole project. It's never a variation from that. So I'm going to take these first 2 strips that we're working on to make the 4 patch. This is the patch we're working on. I've got my strips cut. I'm not going to go through the cutting with you. I'm just going to show you some quick sewing on this. I didn't sew through to the end on this because I wanted to get this portion of it done quickly for you. But when you are done with the strip, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be sewn down the whole way, like this. Then you're going to put this underneath the mat, underneath the ruler on your mat. We're going to be cutting a 3.5 inch wide, making a 3.5 inch wide cut here. And let me see, I'm just trying to line this up. There we go. And now you can drop these magnets right in. Holds it very, very nicely. This is wonderful. I'm like moving this here, but nothing else here is moving. Make my cut. So here's a 3.5 inch wide cut. You need to make multitudes of these in order to make this block. So take these 2 once you have multiples cut. Just put it under the machine. Make sure you try, I'm going to use a pin just to hold the middle together. Try to nest the seams in where one's going one way on one side and one's going the other way on the other. Again, I'm using my 1/4 inch seam allowance. You're done sewing. Here it is. Coming over to the pressing mat. Love this iron. Like the mat as well. It's a nice wool mat. Press that, and when I'm done, iron comes right back up. I won't be burning down my house or have to worry about it. So you're going to make 6 of these 4 and 4 blocks for this week's segment of the week 1 for the sunset colorway, and you're going to make 33 of these blocks, which are the square and square blocks. And I'm going to show you how to do these blocks now. This block is a 4 and 3, the center block is 4 3/4. And these are cut, but this block originally started off, I've cut them for you already. This started off as 3 7/8, and you cut down the middle using this wonderful ruler into the half square triangles. So I'm going to show you how to put these together onto the square. Just set it up. This is the one side. The other side. Be sure to leave the dog ears extended when you're sewing these. The dog ears are the triangles that are overlapping on the ends of these squares. I'm going to press this. Iron. Love that. So you have this portion done. I'm going to add the other half square triangles. I'm going to add the other side. Got 3. So now we have the 4 half square triangles sewn onto the center block. I'm going to press these. so used to lifting up my iron. Doesn't usually have feet. And here's your completed square and square block. So like I mentioned, we're going to be making 6 of these. And we're going to be making 33 of this type of block. Not this particular block, but this type. So this is the way that you would go about making it. So that is what we're working on for this week for the sunset. And we will come back to you next week working on the week 2 segment. I'd like to just show you quickly. These are the portions like Nancy had shown earlier. When you're done, this is the way it should look for this week's portion. Please pay attention to the markings on your instructions of where each block should go and how, the color layout. It's very important. And also keep any extra fabric that you have as you're sewing, because each week's fabric will be used in potentially subsequent weeks. Not potentially, they will be used in subsequent weeks. So enjoy sewing, have a lot of fun. We're happy that you joined us. Thank you for joining us this week, and we're looking forward to seeing you again next week.